but it's not Saturday.
Hello.
Oh, the bit continues over into Highlight Heroes when Adam is
Yeah,
here.
I had to do it. It's my bit. It's what I always do.
I like it. I like it.
Of course
Hey,
it does.
everybody,
Hi,
welcome,
folks.
welcome to Highlight Heroes featuring Mr. Mraddup.
That's me.
That is
Hello.
you. Oh man,
Thank
buddy, it's about time we had you on the show.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah. Hey, where can people find you? What are your social media places and your things and stuff? Just tell all the wonderful people.
My social medias are Mr. Mraddup. It's MRADDUP on every single platform. So where most prevalent is Instagram, and I'm starting to understand Twitter, but I don't because I'm an old man and Twitter scares me. But I'm trying.
Valid.
So yeah.
Awesome. It's exciting we're very exciting to have you here. We have a few announcements, I think, right? And then we're gonna do some interviewing of you, Adam, and learn all of your deepest, darkest secrets. And we're also gonna paint some minis.
That too.
So, announcements. Right. It is. I have the wrong charity on here, but Adam's going to talk about that in a minute, so we're not going to worry about it right now. Instead, we'll talk about our awesome partners, Soundtail, who brings you all the ambiance music that we have, Arcane Anthems, who works with us to make intro songs and things like that, and does a bunch of free content for amazing members of the community, and then Rolaris Maps, who does a lot of map content that is awesome. And then a huge thank you to our amazing sponsors, Skull Splitter Dice. Yeah, I like that. It doesn't scare people anymore. They're like, okay, it's coming. Here it is.
knew it.
Skull Splitter Dice. They have a link down below. So scroll on down and do a clicky on that link and go take a look at their dice. They just sponsored a big old raffle. Yeah, I said a clicky.
I know.
I did. Over there. Go. They just did a raffle with us, which one of our wonderful community members won like 100 dice in a skull mug. There's going to be a new raffle kicking off this month with them soon. Give us a few days, but they are amazing. They are great, awesome, fantastic people. Guys, check out our socials, YouTube, and all that jazz, and our Discord servers for our subscribers. The Discord, there is so much going on there. There's so much artwork. There's all kind of sneak peeks. There's people making games and groups and getting together. The casts go over and hang out with people. So take a look at that subscriber Discord. If you're a subscriber, get yourself in there. Please. Thank you. We love you. Adam, do you want to do your bit? And then we'll get to the stuff from Parker.
So on November 14th, which is how many days away is that? Because I can't do math. 12 days away. That was me, doing the thing so
You
I
got
can
there.
do the math. Anyway,
Mhm.
we are going to be doing a 24-hour live stream, which is all for charity. All of the proceeds are going to Doctors Without Borders. This will be on another channel, which is This Show is a Mimic. It is a friend of the channel, and we are going to be streaming for 24 hours, as I said, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time till 10 a.m. The next day, we are going to be doing all TTRPG content. That includes world building, that includes D&D, that includes Call of Cthulhu, all the different types, all of it, even crafts. We're going to be doing some mini painting on there too. So it'll be really fun, really great, and we hope that you guys can stop by and just share the love, say hi. It'll be a fun time.
Amazing. We're so excited for that. Yeah, and this show's amazing. Adam's been working his butt off. Everybody's been working their butt off to get that going. And hopefully, we'll talk about it a little bit more here in the near future. I'm so on it today. It's great how good I'm doing at being a functioning person on the internet. Parker, save me, please. I'm drowning.
I'm doing my best. All right, so let's talk about the schedule. So our schedule for this week, Friday is our next stream. It is a big stream for us. It's the debut of our second campaign. So that'll be DM'd by Mr. Chickadance, Sean himself, the other innkeeper that is missing from right here, right now. Our newest campaign, Off the Rails, debuts 7 p.m. this Friday. And you guys can check out our Instagram and our Twitter every single day for a cast announcement. Our very first one was announced today. Josh, who was it?
Some weird dude with glasses and no hat. I don't know. He looked goofy.
That's right. Your picture did have no hat and no glasses.
I think you need to clarify.
It was Josh.
I got glasses and no hat, so please clarify.
It was Josh. Josh is our very first one that was announced. So
Hey!
that will be their doing Friday. Come hang out with us there. It's going to be so much fun. I will be posting the next person tomorrow. Then
So
our Saturday campaign is back. So join us Saturday for Conundrum Company at 6 p.m. Eastern, where all three of us and two more of our wonderful friends will be hanging out, sailing the seas, and trying our best to punch a guy named Scarin. Let's do our next one. So, merch. We have a merch store. We have a merch store. So you guys should check out the link below. There's tons of fun stuff. We have stuff with our mascots. We have stuff with our wonderful logo. So check those out. Get yourselves a campaign journal of sorts, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've still got to order my sweater. But I think that's it for me.
Oh my gosh, you know what that means, guys? We're through announcements.
Yeah.
That means show's over. Bye.
Oh, well. Bye, guys.
Did it. No, it means we are in a special mood today, guys. There's too much plaid in the room, and it's making us loopy. All the plaid power. All right, guys. All right. Here we go. So we're gonna do some questions and answers with our amazing good friend Adam, who's been playing D&D with us nonstop for 30 weeks now. Poor son of a gun.
It's been every minute's been the best.
It's just a delight. And we start the show with Adam. I know the answer to this question. This is the beauty of interviewing your friends. But can you tell our audience, what's your mini painting experience like?
So, surprisingly, I don't have a ton, but I actually started painting around the same time Parker did, because when you guys did that first stream, I was like, mini painting seems pretty fun, and I started painting minis, and I started printing minis around that time, and that's also when I started printing out minis, and I was like, I should have been doing this for years. I am a dum-dum. What am I thinking? I have a 3D printer. So I've basically been nonstop just printing and painting. So it's decent level, but not the best.
And you're painting a model you 3D printed today, right?
I did.
Can we see it? Can we see it?
Yeah, absolutely. If my hand doesn't, white it all out. This is a Zal mini that I printed to paint, and I did some clear plastic print. So yeah.
So 3D, you print. Tell us a little bit about the 3D printing process before we go any further. Just because that's we've not. I have no tips to give you. I'm sure you're fine. Tell our audience about tell 3D printing minis.
So I use a resin printer to 3D print my minis because I'm fancy. You don't have to have a resin printer. I'm just a fancy boy, and I 3D print stuff. But basically, the cool thing is I use Hero Forge for this mini specifically, and you can actually just buy the file directly from them, throw it on your printer, and it prints. It takes 5-6 hours, and it prints out. But with resin printers, it's a little bit quicker. So this was like, I think, 2 hours, and it's super high detailed, exactly like a mini you'd buy at the store. But I printed it in my basement.
The resin printers are really good for minis. Some of the the big filament printers, not so great for minis. They don't print the same way, but resin printers, they are good for it. That's awesome, man. Parker, what are you painting today?
I just put them down. I'm painting another Swaggin. So I got a little pack of 2 of these, and I painted one before. If you're curious about Swaggin, you should go watch the Blood Arc of Conundrum Company. All those videos are on YouTube. But I'm gonna paint him because I have the colors for him, and I haven't gotten to buy something new yet. I did finish my dragon from last time though, so I will be posting pictures of him.
God, he's gorgeous. He looks beautiful.
I like my dragons.
And I'm painting the same thing I've been painting for 3 of these, which is the squad of dicey boys. They are so close to done. I'm just doing finishing details. The cleric's got some gem colors I want to do. The wizard has some eyeballs. Yeah, but they're getting close. So, oh my god. Okay, let's ask questions and paint some shit. Boom.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh yeah, it's my turn.
Yeah, you're up,
okay.
boss.
Oh yeah, I haven't asked questions. I'm paying for shit
I'm
now.
having a day. It's Monday.
Good. I love it.
Hey, Adam. How'd you get into D&D?
Oh, buddy.
Kicking it off.
So I got into D&D because my best friend from high school called me when we were on break from college and said, "You're coming over to my boyfriend's house and we're playing Dungeons and Dragons." And this was like 9 years ago. And I was like, Dungeons and Dragons? Nah, I'm never playing Dungeons and Dragons. And she said, "You're showing up or else." And I was like, I don't want to find out what the or else is. And so I showed up and I played D&D for the first time, and it hasn't left my life since.
That's so. How many years did you say it's been?
It's been about 9 years, honestly. I think like 2012, 2013-ish time. And so I've been playing since like 3rd edition. And I started on 3.5 and Pathfinder. And then 4 came out. I never played 4. And then 5 came out, and I was like, 5 is good. So I played 5.
And here we are. 9 years. That's a long time, man.
Yeah, it's been. I've loved every minute. You get to do some crazy stuff, and you know, you meet some crazy people, and then you do a show for 30-odd episodes.
Is that how it works? Oh,
yeah. It's
In my
crazy.
experience, yeah.
That's good. That's a good experience. So that's awesome. I mean, what a blast. But so you've been playing D&D for all these years. In all of these years, what has been your favorite class to play?
So it for a long time. My answer would immediately be Rogues, because I love being the edgy boy. You know, Zal's not an example. Don't say he is. But
Let me go clip all the times that Adam has said he's edgy.
I don't remember any of those
In
times.
one moment.
Who this
Who's
edgy?
Adam?
What?
I'm Mr. Adam. No, but honestly, it's quickly become monks, because I tried a monk back years ago when I was doing Pathfinder. I only got to play him for like 1 session, and I was like, I really wanted to explore that. And so in my home games, I started playing monks, and I just fell in love with the way they work and how different they are from all the other classes, in the sense of like, they're supposed to be these like really zen people who understand how the world works, but you could totally play them as not understanding anything and just getting really lucky. And
Amazing.
I just kind of love that balance.
Okay, monks. Monks are very good also. Like, man alive, is there a lot of potency in that class?
Yeah. There's not a ton of magical items for them, which kind of sucks, but...
True.
Homebrew.
Yeah.
Hey.
I homebrew a lot.
We love some homebrew. So, if monks are your favorite class right now, do you have a favorite race?
Tieflings. Again, edgy boys. I love a demon. It's so cool to have a demon, and then also because of the variant tieflings, because I always like adding a little bit of an extra flair to them, and I liked the fact that the variant tieflings, like, you can add wings in, or you could add, claws in, and I think that's like a really cool, distinct thing. And also, who doesn't want to be Hellboy? Like,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just saying, like, who doesn't want to be Hellboy?
Probably
I've literally
Hellboy.
made a Hellboy before. Yeah.
Same. I've made Hellboy before, and also, Parker, you're 100% right. Probably Hellboy. But like, hey, if there was more Hellboys around, I feel like he'd be like, nah, this isn't that bad. Like,
if he wasn't constantly discriminated for being Hellboy.
for being Hellboy. Yeah.
So
never thought.
So tieflings, okay, tieflings are great. Tieflings are really, really good. Now, Adam, I know you've watched this show. So
definitely,
there's this part that we do in the show. It's really important to me, and I'm really sensitive. You know how I am. So I was wondering if maybe you could participate in that part of the show for me because you love me.
And also because he holds our life on Saturdays.
No, I would never blackmail you through a D&D campaign. Now I feel guilty.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I didn't even do that this time. That wasn't me. I didn't even say it.
Yeah. No,
This time.
I definitely deserved it. Really, I really did.
No.
No.
So Adam, how do
Yes.
you feel about dwarves?
Really important to him.
I like dwarves. I feel like dwarves. That my only thing is, I hate the stereotypes behind dwarves. I like a surprise dwarf, like in the sense of like they're
Like a dwarf jumping out of a chest. I'm gonna put a dwarf in a chest in Conundrum Company,
I
and he's gonna
love
go
that.
boo at you. Just saying.
No, but I mean like in the sense of like because they're always like
Surprise
they're
dwarf.
in a cave, like mining a cave, or oh they're drinking in a tavern, but it's like.
Yeah.
My favorite was like it's like just getting thrown off and getting like the like crazy like whoa I didn't expect like a wizard coming out and being like oh okay didn't expect that but like that's really cool and it's like a different twist on it. I tend to play very tall races because I like being tall characters because I'm a tall person
Sure.
and it's one of those like I don't want the experience of being like hey I can't reach my doorknob like I don't want that experience in my life, so like I don't play smaller characters. It's just who I am, but
I have that
my
problem
God.
all the time playing dwarves. I just can't reach the doorknobs of anything.
well, I'm
Yeah, it's the most
saying
common
like
problem. Yeah.
okay, I meant like gnomes. They're pretty
It's the
small
most
too.
common
I got you. I got you.
common issue for dwarves.
All right, let's try this a different way. What is the main common race in D&D that starts with the letter D?
Mm-hmm.
What? Just say that
Drow.
for me. No, the
Drows.
common race. Drow are considered
Ooh,
an exotic race.
Are they really?
Uh huh.
Duragar.
No, also, this bit is going to
Wait,
take a long
they're-
time. It's
they're
DW.
DW. Well, that was an aardvark in the program Arthur.
Just say that dwarves are the best race.
Those are all right.
God, good enough. It's good enough. You know what? I have enough sound clips of Adam over the last 30 weeks that I'm sure I can make something.
This is the blackmail part, right?
Yeah, this is where it starts. I told you it was gonna happen. You should just listen.
But
This is the blackmail part. Just worry about your character on Saturday.
We're 20 minutes into this and we're
I'm
through the
kidding.
third question.
I hate us. Okay.
Oh, Parker, you're up, boss.
No, I'm not.
You're not? Am I up?
You're up.
Oh, cool. You're right. Hey, what class do you want to try next? Sorry, Parker.
what class do I want to try next? So there's actually two classes that I've been looking at, and it's because one would be Blood Hunter because I've always wanted to play it since Matt released it, and I was like, this is so cool. I could basically either be a Witcher or a lycanthrope or like a crazy like blood wizard. That's dope. But I've never had a chance to play one, and so that was one, and then the other one is a ranger because I started a campaign with a ranger once and I never really got too deep into the campaign, ended up falling apart, but I really wanted to go deeper into it, and now with the new UA of the Drake Warden Ranger, I was like, I can get a dragon familiar basically. That's dope. I want that.
You just made a member of this this interview session, I think, pretty happy hearing that answer. Like, actually hearing
Listen.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know Parker's love.
Listen. Okay. I'm just saying, if they would fix them, their aesthetic is so good.
That's true. It is a very good example.
After the Drake Warden goes out of UA, there'll be three subclasses of Ranger that are viable.
Ooh.
Which is so good.
I'm just saying.
Oh my god. Okay, is there a race you haven't tried that you want to try next?
Yeah, actually, funnily enough, like probably something that'll make you happy. It's a Fire Ganassi. I really want to play. I've never played a Ganassi. It's the same situation of like I've always wanted to play a Ganassi and I just never have. And
I've never played one before Demi. They have a really cool like backstories and
yeah, and
things
like
you can
after seeing Demi and Peach, I was like, oh, I could do some really cool stuff with like another type of Ganassi, and then like the fact that like the Fire Ganassi, their parent lineage is an Afridi, I was like, that's you could write some real wicked backstory with like an evil genie parent, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay. So, if Zal ever licks another wall, we might see a fire blood Ganassi blood hunter. Right?
maybe.
Is
I
that
thought I was being.
That was a joke. That was a joke, Adam. I love you very much. I'm sorry. I don't know
Listen,
why. You don't
might have
deserve
to
You
this.
wanted.
Zal
you-
might have to go lick some walls now.
If you wanted to be mean about recently, you could be like, if you get attacked in the middle of the night again.
No. I don't want to. I don't. I don't.
Spoilers.
I don't want to bring up any like really like raw mean things. I was just. Oh, I feel.
I mean it all. It happened.
Literally, all of us are like, eh.
Like literally, it happened, and everybody was like, "Adam, you're so sad." I was like, "No, I'm fine. I was ready. I was prepared a little bit. I'm sad, but I'm prepared."
Nah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Cool. So, class you want to try, race you want to try. What's your least favorite class to play?
Personally, for me, it's wizards.
Oh.
I get bogged down by all the different spells and like little things that wizards can do, and it confuses me. And I'm, as we've all seen on the stream, I'm very forgetful with my abilities, and so there'll be definite times where I'll be sitting there and I've like tried wizard stuff and then just completely forgotten a major ability that a wizard has. So it's one of those where it's like I've been sitting there and like 10 minutes into something been like, oh wait, no, I didn't do that right. And so it just,
I genuinely love that perspective though, because it is very much like some classes work for people and some classes don't, and you just know yourself enough to be like, that doesn't work for me.
yeah, I'm like, I think they're cool and like I love wizard players, don't get me wrong, but like it just,
It does take a specific sort.
yeah, I'm not a Ravenclaw.
Well.
Parker.
We can't all be the note takers, so.
Well, but yeah, that's.
So, do you have a least favorite race that you've played? Like one that just didn't mesh for you?
I don't think that I've played it, but like one that doesn't mesh for me is like the Githyanki, the Gith in general, because like they're just kind of mean for no reason. Like I don't get why they're just kind of mean. Like I've always wanted to try it, play like a nice like Gith, but like all of them like in their lore is like they basically hate everyone else. Like, and I'm like I don't like that. I want to be like. I like all the other races because they're pretty chill, and like, granted, there are a couple that are written poorly to be like, oh, they're evil always, and I never play by those standards because I think it's, you know, it's dumb. But like, it's one of those where I'm like, kids are always written to be like these real mean people, and I'm just not about that.
Not about the mean.
Nah, I can be edgy, but I'm not mean.
Edgy but not mean.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So oh my gosh, we're here already. Adam, you create content on Instagram, on TikTok, on all kinds of places. What got you started there, man? Like what's the origin story of Mr. Adam?
So, funny thing was, I started cosplaying in 2011. Right out of high school, I started going to conventions and cosplaying, and I absolutely loved dressing up, going to conventions, and like my friends were like, "You should start stuff, you should do stuff," and I started an Instagram like a year later, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna post my costumes there because like why not? It's fun, and it just became this thing where that was just my internet personality, and I was streaming on Twitch at the time, and you know, I met a ton of people, and it just snowballed into me making content and then going to TikTok because I was like, this seems like fun. I can make content with and meet cool people like you two. Like this is totally it. Like I'm down. Sign me up. So
I mean that's how 4/5 of Conundrum Company got to know each other, right? Is that like
Mhm.
cosplay
Yeah.
community sort of thing.
I think
there.
actually all of us. Or do you mean cosplay specifically?
Yeah,
I
cosplay
was like, we all met
specifically,
on TikTok.
but all through
Technically-
all through TikTok, pretty much.
But technically, I did cosplay Sean once.
That's
That's
true.
true.
You did cosplay Sean.
So I did
Does that
meet
work
Sean through my-
retroactively into making? Okay, I like it. Sean
I
cosplayed
did-
a doctor once for a skit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
And that's
cosplayed
who I
Morton.
cosplayed Sean as
Yeah.
his doctor character.
Sean cosplaying Morton was barehead. I loved it.
A
I loved it.
masterpiece.
It was amazing. It was perfect.
Okay, so you got into content creation that way. Okay. Very
Yeah.
nice. And that's all she wrote. Now you're here, and
Now
everywhere.
I'm here.
And now you have no choice.
I mean, help. I'm just please no. I'm kidding.
No.
You've been on panels and like all kinds of cosplay stuff too, right? Like
Oh,
you
yeah.
were doing one a couple months ago, last month.
Yeah, I was in a PAX panel a few months ago, and then I also was in a magazine a few months ago.
That's right, with Percy.
So it's my Percy and my Ford has been put in a magazine. Yeah, my life went from like you're just gonna do this as like a hobby to like, hey, but also, do you want to be in a magazine now? And I'm like, what me? What? Okay, sure. Like,
Who, me?
I feel like that
me?
happens to the best of us. It just happens one day.
Like you just get an ask of something, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm here now.
This is where I am now.
This is life, huh?
Who
I
knew?
woke up today, just getting ready for work, and I guess I'm gonna be in a magazine. That's fun.
So, what would you consider your biggest hobby outside of D&D? Would it be cosplay?
I think so. I think it's like I've been doing cosplay now for 10 years, or coming up on 10 years, and it's just been something that I've constantly done, and it's something I still do, and
Mm-hmm.
weirdly guided parts of my life. Like I went into graphic design and learned how to 3D model for cosplay pieces, and now I sell those, and it's just become like this big part of my life that it's changed everything and done a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's what I think.
That's awesome.
Well, that is all of our questions. So, chat, if you would like to ask something of Adam, now is the time. You can, for us, please, our mod Azure just showed you guys, but please, if you can, highlight those messages so that it's easier for us to see. But send us in your questions for Mr. Adam.
I have a question while they're coming in too.
Oh no, what's your
Mhm.
question?
So, what are you most excited for on the November 14th rolling for charity stream? What's the thing you're most excited for?
Honestly, the whole thing. Like I know that's like a cliche answer, but like because of how much work like our team has put into it and like how many creators we've brought together, I'm really excited just to see the whole thing work. And like your section's gonna be really cool. I'm very excited to see it. Like I'm not doing a bit here. Like I was genuinely when that was made, I was like, I'm super excited for that because I love I'm gonna give a hint for what section you're in. Lordom's really dope, and so I'm very excited.
Wait, are we allowed to talk about who's in the section? Because you got me, Sean, Art Pleb, and Nick the Tiefling in the middle of the night making D&D lore. It's gonna be real feral.
Oh, and here's the best part is it's definitely going to be feral, and I'm excited for the feralness of it.
There's gonna be some crazy that comes out of that one.
Late Night Josh and Sean are some of my favorite versions of them. they make the best random stuff.
And that's why I'm excited to see where that goes. And like, it's gonna be fun. And you guys are gonna see sleep deprived Adam that day of, okay, you guys need to be in this section, in this, and what? It'll be really fun.
You've got a lot. You're doing all of that and playing through a regular session of Conundrum Company, and that.
Yep.
It's a lot.
Let's make it emotional too, guys. Let's make it a real emotional.
Make it a really emotional one. We can do that.
No,
We
soft
sprinkle
hours.
some
Soft hours for the
tears.
next month. I can't do anymore. I can't do it.
The realization Josh had last game. Oh wait, that happened 2 weeks ago. Whoop.
But yeah,
I was like, yep.
I definitely think the whole thing is going to be a really fun experience, but I think the coming together of everything is the thing I'm most excited. I know that's like again a cliche, but like just seeing like everything put together is going to be the fun part to me.
That's awesome. That's really exciting, man. All right, we got some questions in here. I'll ask one. Parker's in the middle of detail work. I can see her focusing, so I'm going to ask this awesome question from our dear, wonderful friend Azur, who's an amazing mod and a just great human being. What has been an unforgettable moment for you in game?
In any game or just
Any game, any game, any TTRPG.
There's a ton in Conundrum Company, but you'll have to watch that on the YouTube channel.
No spoilers.
No spoilers here. But I think one of the most unforgettable moments I have had in a game, and I don't think I've told either of you guys this story, but it's one of my favorites because I played this like super talkative rogue who I was like, he's going to be a charisma rogue who is this tiefling from like this weird cult of tieflings, and we had to get an item from a dragon, and we went to this dragon and we're ready for a fight. We were way under leveled, and we get there and the dragon whips around and looks at us and we're ready for this epic fight. We all have our weapons drawn and the dragon just goes, "Can you guys not today?" And we all went, what? And it's speaking common, and we went, well, we're here because we need that, and like it's a whole thing. And the party kind of pushed me forwards, and I basically had to have this convincing a dragon to just kind of let us borrow an item from it. And what ended up happening was I rolled so well on my charisma checks that me and the dragon became buddies. And he was like, "Hey, yeah, if you guys ever need help, just come up here again. I gotcha." And he's like, "Oh, and you can also borrow that." And then literally goes, "Do you guys just want me to teleport you back down the mountain?" And wraps his wings around us and teleports us back down the mountain to where our ship was. And he's like, "Okay, do make sure to bring that back because like I will hunt you down." And we were like, "Haha!" And he teleports back away, and we see him swooping in the sky, like land back in the mountain. And it was just this crazy moment that I was like, we got done with the session, and I went, "Did I just become best friends with a dragon? What is this game? Is amazing."
That is the joy of D&D, right? It absolutely is. All right.
Yeah.
So, do you have a favorite Nat 20/Nat 1 moment? Like something where the dice bit you in the butt and it's like a favorite moment?
Ooh, Nat 20, Nat 1 moment. For a Nat 20 moment, it was a Pathfinder game, and I was playing a monk. It was the first time I ever played a monk, and I was a race called the Oread, which are like these giant stone people. And this guy had summoned his guards, which were 2 Ettins, and we again, I end up getting in situations where I'm way under leveled for them, but like we were like, we gotta beat this guy, we gotta get to him, and I went into my flurry of blows and I rolled a nat 20 for my flurry of blows, and I ended up like destroying one of the Ents' heads just by like manning it and just doing like the rolling punch type of a move onto it because I just hit it so many times that I destroyed one of its heads. And so it's like stumbling around because it's a 2-headed half giant that needs both of its heads to function properly. So it's stumbling around the room. The barbarian runs up next to me, and they also nat 20 crit and kill the thing in one turn. And the guy hadn't even gotten out of the room, but he was boasting about how much of a problem he would be for us. And he turns around and just sees his Etten guard dead, and he's like, "Oh God!"
Oh, that's awesome.
But for that one moment, oh God, that's I mean, I think I'm gonna hype you up here, Josh. Your nat 1 moments are some of my favorites. Like anything that's happened is all where I've rolled a nat 1 where you're like, yeah, that's just gonna okay, well, like because your reaction to it is what makes it some of my favorite D&D. Because like I'll roll a nat 1 and you'll just be like, okay, well, this is how this is gonna play out.
The dice, like, when they fail Zal, they fail him at the most dramatic moments. So it's like when he's flying down an alleyway, or when he's boarding a ship and gets tangled in, like, it's always...
That's a good one.
I was like, I know how ladders work, I think. Like,
at some point,
a moving ship.
we should go back and measure, like, the number of nat ones everybody's had across the table, because it is a crazy one. But they really do dramatically. Yeah, we need a stat tracker.
A conundrum stat.
Conundrum stats, yes, it's perfect. Oh my god, amazing. Okay, good question, guys. Ooh, this is a good question from. That last question, by the way, was from Liz, just singing geek. Amazing, Liz. Thank you. This next question is from Tanner Mythalidor. And Mythalidor asks, if you could cast Find Familiar in real life, what would be your familiar?
That is... See... It's funny, because honestly, it'd be Ashi. I love dragons, and I love snakes, so it'd either be the constrictor snake or Ashi. Those would be my two. Like, because who doesn't love a little dragon? Because that's so cool.
Bad people don't love little dragons.
It's true. Or attempting to kill the party.
Yeah.
Those jerks, I hate them.
Yeah.
But like, I think honestly, I'd want a pseudo dragon. I would probably have like a black pseudo dragon because I could do some color aesthetic stuff since you get to like design it and everything.
Yeah.
I do like black and like pearlescent with like gold and stuff because, as much as Zal loves aesthetics, so do I. So
valid, very valid, very valid. I kind of want to, Parker, if you had a familiar, I'm sorry, I don't mean to derail this. This is a very interesting question we've never gotten before. Parker, if you had a familiar, who would it be? Mm-hmm. What would it be?
Like a mythical. I mean,
it could be whatever you want. It could be, you already have a familiar.
I do in a way, but if we were doing just D&D specific familiar, I would just have Bims.
Yeah. Oh.
It would sound exactly like Bims, and he would look like this, and he would be adorable. Because Bims is like canonically a little bit like my cat and my dog. So he's the perfect balance of both of those that I would love. So I would probably still have a pseudo dragon. I mean, again, who doesn't want a little tiny dragon?
That is absolutely valid.
Who wouldn't want a little dragon?
So,
baby dragon.
Can I be the one to ask Josh? What about you?
Yeah.
I realized that when I asked Parker that I would have to answer this question, and I was trying to think of an answer, and I can't think of one.
You already have a familiar.
I do have. So I have Sassy, who is probably about. Sassy's perfect because I'm a person who likes to like be left alone, and Sassy and I can sit in the same room, like 30 feet from each other, and be real happy with each other. Or she can be like right on top of my head and be the like most overjoyed, glad person on the planet too. And like, there's like, I always like cats. I think if I had a familiar genuinely, like it would be a cat, just because I love dogs. We have dogs, love them. I do like cats more. It's just...
I won't tell Winnie.
Don't tell Winnie. Winnie's my baby, and I love her. But she's also kind of a cat for a dog. She's so standoffish all the time. It's the most cat. She's more of a cat than our cat. Yeah. I think a cat though. Yeah, I love them. Okay. Boy, we got one from our friend JJ, and I have to point this out every time I see JJ. JJ won our dice giveaway from Parker's father, which the Elder Nerd. So congratulations, JJ. Sorry, I'm gonna do this every time. I know you hate it. But question from JJ: if you could choose one player to join CC as a guest, who would it be and why? Wow. Okay, interesting question. One player. Who are we playing with? Who do we know? Who do you play with that you would add to Conundrum Company as a guest?
Huh.
We know a lot of people. This is a hard question.
Yeah.
That's a really
We know
hard
a
question.
ton people.
I'm going through all of it, and I mean, both of our guests so far have been like really solid friends that I'm like, oh, that was so cool. So and I'd love to see any of our friends, but that's a really, I don't know. I think it'd be really fun to play with Artplib, like
Sloan.
because Sloan, because I think because I've seen them play, and like I think they would fit in really well with like our flow and everything. And so I think that'd be really fun, and it's somebody I haven't gotten to play with. So
They are great. Sloan is amazing. Artplib's a lot of fun. You are. That's a good shout, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay. Dan asks, Fallen Dan, good amazing person. Are you still as addicted to Hades as you stated previously? And if so, who's your favorite character within the game?
yes, I am still very addicted to Hades. And if you don't know what Hades is, it's a game that just recently came out, and it's beautiful, and it deals with the myth of Zagreus trying to escape the underworld, and his father Hades blocking him at every turn, and it's great. And my favorite character is still Ares, and I'm going to cosplay him soon because he's beautiful, and the art in that game is beautiful. So
I've looked at it. I want to get that game.
it is so cool, and it is very like, it's very funny because it's like, you want to escape the underworld if you're into Greek myth, like it's a perfect game because you get to interact with gods and everything. So yeah.
That's awesome.
It's very cool.
That's a good. That question I knew would make you very happy. Okay, another JJ question. JJ's got them back to back here. What is your favorite moment in Conundrum Company?
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
You know it.
Can't do that one. That's allowed on this show. How could you?
Would you say one of many, right? Right, Adam?
Yeah, there's a lot.
One of your favorites.
Yeah.
That's a really hard question because I don't think I have a specific favorite, but I think like honestly, and this is gonna sound so dumb, but it's the one that gets brought up the most is licking the wall. That moment it became one of my favorites because that was a moment that cemented the party aspect to me as a player, because it was a moment where like I was like, oh, I'm a session 1 death, that's gonna be really funny, like I'm gonna have to write a new character, and then the whole party was like, we're getting him out of here, and like got dragged out, and I was like, whoa, didn't expect that. I just thought it was like, but gotta write a new character. But it was like dragged out, made sure he was okay, literally carried him for 4 hours into like safety, and I was like, whoa, like that in my mind was the moment in my head that I was like, that kind of cemented the party to me. You know what I mean?
When we figured out that we all made like really nice people.
Yeah.
It was very much like a not on my watch moment, and that defines the party in a lot of ways. You guys are like, nah.
But actually, no.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, I saw it now. You can't. I can't do that. We know it's here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what's on the other side, and it's not that fun.
Yeah.
Not the best.
I've got another Azure question here. Is there a system I think I know the answer to this question. Is there a system outside of D&D that you particularly enjoy? If not, is there a system you would like to try out in the future?
Can I bring up, okay, this has a swear in it, but it's one of my favorite systems of all times. I'm just prefacing that. It's motherfucking Crab Truckers is my favorite TTRPG.
I did not know this was the answer.
I didn't know this.
It is my favorite TTRPG system of all time because the entire game is a one-sheet page that explains how to play it, and basically everybody makes a crab trucker, and by that I mean a giant crab that drives a semi-truck, and it is completely open, and it's like, I'm a crab trucker, and I learned jujitsu through videotapes in my truck, and like that's your special skill. So it's like, you guys gonna track. It's like, I'm gonna use crab jutsu and like snip all their hands off, and you get like extra rolls for that. It's just such a fun system that you can just have crazy stuff with.
I never even heard of it. Genuinely,
I haven't either.
And it's really funny because the way rolling works is somebody calls bullshit. Like they're just like, you're like, you could do like something crazy, and if nobody calls bullshit, it happens, and then the DM just kind of has to roll with it. It's like, yeah, you snap all their claws off, and then and then it's like, oh, and then I go sit back in my seat. If somebody's like bullshit to that, but not the claws, like that's the thing bullshit's getting called on. So like,
so you can there's a meta game to that for sure. Oh my god,
and
that's
so
crazy.
It's hilarious too because like the way it works is like if two characters call bullshit, then they roll against each other, and whoever gets the higher, like that's what happens.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
The DM at any point can basically go bullshit, and they cannot contest it. It has to roll, and the DM usually has more dice, so like they can affect it more, and so it's very cool.
Interesting. Okay, I need to look this game up. I never even heard.
It's a very fun system, and my favorite last little tidbit about it is literally in the description. They're like, you should be playing this on repeat, and it's the "We Got a Big Old Convoy" that song on repeat in the background while you play this game.
Wow.
That's insane. Okay. This is another question from Liz. We've got the question gang here. The question gang.
Question gang? I'm here for question gang.
If you had to choose a class for yourself in real life, what would it be, and would you multi-class?
I absolutely would multi-class. And if I could pick so the funny thing is like I did the thing where you find out what you are as a D&D character, like what class you would be, and I got fighter, and I was like, I kind of dig that. I think it's basic a little bit, but like I like fighters a lot because you can like really go into like your own story with a fighter and like really flesh out who you are. But I think I'd probably be a fighter monk because monk, again, I have a love for it, and like, who doesn't want to be an anime character? Like, come on. Like, you could be an anime character and, like, wield a giant sword. And, like, I'm kind of here for that aesthetic.
Valid. Very valid.
Yeah.
I moved. Let's see. I'm going to just jump forward a little bit. What type of trope would you like to play or flip on its head in D&D? Aside from the surprise dwarf.
One trope that I really love playing, and I have, is evil drow. I hate one thing that I don't like about wizards is that they decided that certain races were evil, and I don't like that. I don't like the idea that you made a race evil, and it is a trope that in every single one of my games I get rid of. And like my home game, drow are everywhere. They're normal with elves. There's an elven capital that is part drow, part normal, like high elf, part every type of elf, because I don't like the idea of some race being inherently evil. And so yeah,
that's awesome. That's a very good answer. If you what has come out of Dungeons and Dragons that stuck with you as a person, like something impactful in your life? This is a deep question here.
Like other than like, the resume answer of like, I learned how to work with a team.
It's a good answer.
It's a great answer, and it's great because you can put it on a resume.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things to me that came out of it was the ability to like lead a team and do it with confidence, because I've played like the team leader role in other games, and I've had to be like put in that decision of like that decision making moment that can make or break characters, that can change the way the session's rolling. And that translated to my real life really well, because I've been put in leadership positions where I've had to make the tough decisions and had to really look at it. And I think because of my Dungeons and Dragons experiences, I could see that easier. If that makes sense.
It does create a lot of self-reflection, Dungeons and Dragons. You see a lot more of like yourself. It's weird. It's like looking into a mirror. Like, oh, I like that part. This part,
Yep.
It's always great when you make a character and then halfway through playing the character, you realize it's a self-insert, and you're like, "Oh, that's just me."
Yeah. Oh, whoops. Whoopsie.
Realize that one moment that you're like, oh, that's what I would do. Oh,
Wait a minute.
Crap.
Oh, dang it. I did it again.
yeah, like,
So you said you were not a Ravenclaw. What house are you, and what house would Zal be?
I am a Gryffindor because
Are we all
it makes
Gryffindors? No, sorry.
No.
Duh. Obviously, Josh. I knew that. Don't look at me like that. Don't be mad at me, Parker. I knew that. I immediately knew it was a dumb question when I asked it.
I would be a Gryffindor, and Zal. I think it's pretty obvious, and I think the funniest is we had a conversation about it, and that's when it clicked in my mind. Be a Slytherin. He'd 110% be a Slytherin. There's no doubt in my mind that he would be a Slytherin.
It is. I mean, you have the 4 houses in Conundrum Company, I think.
Legitimately.
Yeah, because Morton,
Legitimate.
We do.
Hufflepuff, Demi,
Yeah.
obviously Ravenclaw, and Peach
Yeah.
definitely has some
Me too.
Gryffindor vibes.
Oh yeah.
mhm.
Zal's very much a Slytherin.
Yeah.
Okay.
All 4 houses went on a weird little adventure.
Hanging out.
We're actually just us sitting in the room of requirements playing D&D.
Nobody's actually exotic. We're not all exotic races. We're all just normal human, but we're all
Yeah.
just.
You're playing
Yeah.
a D&D game about playing a D&D game.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. So
That's how it kind of ends.
yeah, that's the conundrum.
Pan back.
Stand back out of the room of requirements. It's like,
this-
right, we're late for class.
This is a good question. Can you pick a favorite character you've ever played? And you do not have to say Zal here. What's your favorite? I won't be here.
One of my favorites. I have to do one of my favorites. Zal is honestly, I think, my favorite. I've gotten to do the most growth with Zal, which is the fun part. But one of my favorites that I got to play was, and I tell this story a lot because I love this character. It was a tiefling barbarian who was a pirate king, and because I came into a party late, and so he was a pirate king, so I got to level him up. And like his backstory was that he got betrayed by his crew, thrown into the ocean, and tussled with a leviathan. And in the tussle, he ripped one of his horns off as a makeshift weapon, stabbed the leviathan, and got away, but was like horribly scarred throughout half of his body. Found a hat of disguise that was a tricorder and just walked around in that and would hide all of his scars and everything until he raged, because magic effects disappear when you rage.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden, the second he raged, all the scars would come back and his horn would disappear. And so every time, like, the DM would usually make other people roll for like being frightened of him, because he'd look like a normal person, turn around, and all of a sudden his face is like torn asunder and like his body is like all mangled, and he's like, I'm gonna end you, and lightning's cracking above his head as he's doing it.
Oh, that's hella
So,
cool. Very aesthetic.
oh,
Adam,
yeah,
I know
it
you're
was-
a
it was
sucker for
really-
aesthetic. Yeah.
I am. It's just so cool when you get a cool moment where it's like, I was also a Storm Herald barbarian, so like literally every time he raged, no matter what the weather was like, you'd hear thunder cracking in the distance.
That's
And so it was always like a really cool moment of like, people would be like, what is happening? And they just see him like start like just like deep breaths as like lightning's just cracking everywhere, and they're like, it's a sunny day. It was 90 this morning. What's happened? Like,
So Florida.
Florida man fights Leviathan, loses horn. Oh man, we've got some new names here. So Rabid Roxas asks a really good question, which is, what do you think of monetized D&D, professional DMs, and paid games? This is a really interesting question,
It
honestly.
really is.
Yeah.
It's kind of a question for all of us, but you know, this. Tell us what you think.
So I think it's interesting. I think like monetizing D&D is an interesting concept because it's already monetized in a sense of like buying the books and all of that. And so it's interesting like remonetizing it to play it. But at the same time, I think it is a good thing for allowing people the space to play. So I'm kind of in the middle about it, because it's one of those, like, I think it allows people to play, but at the same time, it's remonetizing something that's already monetized. And the other thing to me is like paid DMs. It's cool, and like I'd love to be one day, because like, why not get paid to do something that you love? But also, again, it's that weird balance of like remonetizing something that's already monetized, and it's not like an official thing sometimes, and that can get weird. So
Yeah.
It's weird because I've never thought about it, but we do monetize D&D in a way. Like,
yeah, in a way.
our content
Yeah.
isn't behind a paywall. We want everybody to be able to watch it, but there is an element of like people subscribe, and that helps our channel out, which allows us to tell our story.
True.
It's different to what you traditionally think about, which is like Roll20 games that you pay to access, right? Which is the like default.
Yeah.
And so monetize D&D is so unique. Sorry, Parker, go ahead.
No, you're good. I've played one or two games where I've paid to play, but it was at a convention. So at Dragon Con each year, you can pay like $2, you get a ticket, and like DMs volunteer to take people through things, and then all those proceeds, like I believe, go to charity. So like there's different ways to do monetized games. I feel a little weird about it, mostly just because, I mean, you can go into a group with like people you know and not have fun. So I can't imagine like going in not knowing anybody and just expecting a DM to know what I want out of a game. I think it makes D&D a little less personal, which I think is one of my favorite things about D&D.
Well, that's I will say, for one of the things that we do with like Cos Playground as a dungeon master is terrifying, because there are a series of people who you do not know in any way, shape, or form landing at your tabletop, and you have to be able to quickly intuit what they want as a player to and make it happen. So I like the Twee DMs I know experience that with our guest sessions, because it is very, very different. So you're right.
I just make my friends do my programs.
Fortunately, Parker has excellent taste in friends, of course. So, you know.
Yeah.
It's true.
I think we're on to our next question.
This is a really good question too, by Athena.
That's a really good one.
Athena.
If you could have any weapon or power for your character, what would it be? And I want to hear this answer, especially for Zal.
See, that's cheating. Because
Ooh.
now,
Oh boy.
so any
You've been eyeballing.
power-
What's on the shelf?
I mean, I've looked at everything. One of my favorite creations in the D&D world is Matt Mercer's creations of all the different vestiges. I think that would be really cool. I don't have a specific one
Just a
for
vestige.
that, but a vestige, because I love narratively like something that grows with your character, and I think that's a really cool element that DMs can play with, because like they get to watch you grow as much as you get to grow as the character. And so I think it's a very cool thing to have like a moment where it's like your character really has achieved something new. Here's a little bit of a reward of something you already have is now getting a little better or a little different. And so I think that's a really cool thing to play with. But for like a specific, I mean, for power, I talked about it a little bit on the fan server, and you all were there. For power, I really want Zal at some point to be able to cast True Polymorph, so he can make Ashi a Yuan Ti, so Ashi can be a person, because Zal's realized that Ashi wants to be a person, or he thinks that Ashi wants to be a person. So
She does seem to enjoy it.
yeah, he's just like he likes talking to people, and Zal's like, I like you as a pseudo dragon, but also like I like you as a sprite. But like also, if you could be like a person, that'd be pretty cool.
Ashi becomes a person and Bim sits on his shoulders.
Oh, dude.
Bim's on his head.
Dude.
Forward
Full
mount.
circle.
That would be so good, though.
Full
That would be
circles.
so good. I'm so here for that.
That's a really
That'd
good
be very
question. Thank
cute.
you, Athena.
So good.
Should we do like one more question? What do you think, Parker? One more? One more?
Yeah, we can do one more.
Okay. The next one on the
find
list
one?
is this is a good one from Liz. It says, do you have a favorite spell to use in game? Like a spell you pretty much always learn or prepare if it's available.
I do. Well, I have two, but I actually chose not to take it. The second one I chose not to take with Zal because I wanted to go a different way. But my favorite spell in the game is Eldritch Blast.
It's a good spell.
Because, dude, it's so useful.
Especially or like later on.
Right, because it's like you could hit 4 people, but like also warlocks don't get multi-attacks. So you're like, cool, boom, 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 boom. I just fire off from my hand 4 attacks. Like,
It's just
But,
such a consistent damage dealer, and it's so versatile with the invocations as well.
Exactly. And so I think Eldritch Blast would probably be my favorite spell. But then the one that I always take when I make Warlocks is Darkness. That's my phone going off. That's fun.
Darkness is a unique one too, because
Darkness,
that one could bite you in the butt.
I always play Warlocks. Usually, so this is what I meant when I didn't do this with Zal, but I usually play Warlocks with Devil Sight. And then I
My
do
favorite.
Darkness, and then you can see in any through your own darkness, and then it's like the perfect combo to just like stealthily take out people. But
Every Warlock I've ever played has had Devil's Sight, because it's so good.
And I didn't do that with Zal because that's something I've done every single time consistently, and I was like, I don't think that's Zal's. Zal can already see in the dark. He's fine. He doesn't see like a benefit of being like, I can see a little bit farther. Man,
Nah, I don't need that.
Man, I'm fine.
Demi needs that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true. Listen, I have a
My
great
poor
patient.
girl. Absolutely
I have a great patient.
I'm not praying to your mother.
Uh,
Want nothing to do.
Dear
with
Mama Ada,
God.
could I have...
Listen, I mean, she'll make you guys food IRL, so.
Dear Mother Sophia. Will you...
Dear
Hello.
Mother Sophia.
Hello! I don't
Dear
know.
Mother
my
Sophia,
God.
I'd like to be able to see at night. Is that something you can provide for me? Check yes, if possible.
A torch just falls through a celestial teleporter.
God, the sass would be so good.
Yes, Demi would like absolutely wreck her.
They're like, I'd just like to remind you that he licks walls.
Point at Zal. This is yours.
This one's yours. Like holding the back of Zal's collar. This is yours. And I can't see in the dark. Yeah,
Please
it would be a
don't.
time. Oh my gosh.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Adam, one more time, where can people find you?
Everybody, you can find me on any social media site under Mr. Addup, which is MRADDUP. And that's every social media. I'm most on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm playing Twitter, but give me some time and I'll get there.
And guys,
We have to
do
show
not...
what we painted.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say before, do not forget to check out this show as a Mimic on November 14th for a huge charity event. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be people there. There's going to be content all day. Adam has been working his butt off on it, as well as many other amazing content creators in the D&D community. We love them all. Thank you, Adam. Yeah, Parker, what did you paint?
I painted my little Swaggin boy. Hold on.
You are such a good painter. Like, it's crazy how good you got so fast.
I am doing my best.
You're killing it, man.
I gotta finish his little face.
Oh,
But
he looks amazing. He's gorgeous. Here, I'll show
Thank
mine,
you.
and then we'll end on Zal, of course. Here are my dice, boys. I did genuinely finish them.
I'm so happy. They look so good.
The whole squad is there. I'm pretty pleased with the cleric. I did a gemstone in there. It's got a very cool gem effect in both the
that's
shields that has like a
He
reflection.
looks
in it.
so good.
Yeah, they can-
Oh, cool.
All right, Adam. Show us what do you got? What do you got?
So I didn't finish, but I got Zal right here, black jacket, got his boots on,
Yeah.
and then I painted his because I still have my staff of the adder, and so I have that.
Beautiful. Looking very good. All right, folks. That's it for us. Thank you for coming to our show, Highlight Heroes.
Hanging out on Highlight Heroes. I'm here to end this before Josh says any more of that. I don't know how much paint water you had today, guys. Bye.